Hey everyone, it's Andrea, and welcome to Scenes Out of Place. If you don't know, I have a short story book called Scenes Out of Place, where I have multiple stories that feature zombies, dragons, and surviving in space. And there are a couple more ideas that might fit into those worlds, but don't necessarily need a whole new book. So I'm bringing them to you in an audio edition. So sit back and enjoy some of the stories that didn't make it to the final edition, but still need to exist. Part 1. Hey guys, my loyal listeners. Do I have a story for you? Last week, I informed you guys that there were rumors of a new species arriving out of the dragonfire. I told you that my contact told me there were elves, trolls, and mermaids that now existed. And I can tell you with 100% certainty that elves do exist. I know this because I met one. Where? I can't tell you that. But how? They saved my life from a troll. So, I was there in the woods the other day, just trying to see what I could scavenge. Maybe some dry trees for a fire, maybe some wild berries, something. And I was attacked by a troll. Now, let me tell you, this troll was massive. It was huge. Okay, maybe not super huge. I might be exaggerating slightly, but it was big to me, and that counts. But mostly it was big because I was on the ground harvesting some berries. And I thought for sure I was going to die. Like, we give death this, like, very weird sort of connotation throughout life. But in that moment, I thought I was going to die. Truly, I did. Like, I don't know if anyone else has thought about it in the last, like, year and a half, but I have. And being bashed in the head with a club, that's not how I want to go. But it was interesting. But staring at the troll was weird because it was human adjacent, if that's a way to put it. Like, you could tell that this used to be a normal person, probably just a couple weeks ago, but its bone structure was altered. Its arms were like twice the size of a normal human man, so were the legs, also the torso, and its skull. It was like harder because I did grab a branch and I did hit it with everything that I had. And I'm not a weak person, I would like to think, but the branch just snapped when I hit it. And I was going hard because I needed to get away from it because I knew it meant my death. And every time the branch came into contact with it, it would just break. So it was like they were so strong that nothing could affect it, and I had nothing else to fight it with. So I'm backing up and running as fast as I can, and it's lumbering after me, and the ground is literally shaking as it runs. And I knew I couldn't come back towards town to you guys because I didn't want the troll to know where we were. And I didn't know if we would be able to take it down. We are a mighty force, but we're not many. Not enough. And I didn't want to risk any of us, so I kept running deeper. I guess at some point I must have crossed into elf territory. And at some point, we have to establish the fact that I just said elf territory. But anyway, I know I crossed over this like invisible barrier because the troll just stopped, you know? It came to a complete stop, like it was afraid to cross over. And I didn't know it at the time that I was in elf territory, but I know it now. The troll was looking for something, and then I guess when it didn't find it, it crossed over. So there goes my thinking of I'm safe, you know? You know, when I think of elves, I think of those high elves, you know, from the movies. You know, the ones that are like regal and glowing and move with grace and everything. And yes, while they did all of that, these elves also had access to modern weapons. And when I say they took this troll down with military precision, with guns, it was crazy. It was like sniper shots, all in key areas: the elbow joint, knee joints, ankle joints, the neck, the ear. 5 shots, and the troll went down. And this is why I'm urging you all to stay out of elven territory, because they will defend it to the death. And I say this because when the troll went down, and it went down hard and it shook the ground, it was still breathing. And then this other elf came out of the woods, and it like sort of materialized from the trees, and it had this huge knife or a sword. I think the correct word is probably sword. And it lifted the sword in the air with this huge arc over the troll's head, and it brought it down with a force I didn't know was possible. It severed the troll's head from his body with one swift move. Now, I watched my fair share of action movies in my day before, the world went to hell in a handbasket. And I thought I would be okay with gruesome things, you know? I wasn't the biggest horror buff, but I saw my fair share. But seeing an actual creature's head be removed from his body was just disgusting. Let me just promise you, this is not a sight you want to see willingly. But I digress. But after it removed the head, it pointed the sword at me. And as you can tell by the sound of my voice, I am still here because I am nothing if not a survivalist. And guys, I begged for my life. I begged because I didn't want to die. And I didn't actually mean to cross into their territory because I didn't actually know the territory existed. So the elf, the guy, asked me to state my business, and I said I was just trying to gather berries, and then the troll found me, and I rehashed this entire story of running from it and then apparently crossing into their boundaries. And I'm telling you guys, the elf was like, "You're trespassing on elf land." And I'm like, "I didn't even know there was a boundary." And they did not care. I wasn't allowed to cross, and I did. And he stared at me for a very long time. And this sword is like still covered in the blood and guts of like the troll body parts. And he still has it pointed at me. Pointing at me. Like I can do something to him. And I can still smell the troll blood, which, you know how human blood has like that coppery smell, Troll blood smells disgusting. It smells like a sewer. And I don't understand it because like the troll itself didn't smell, but the blood, oh my God, I was gagging. I was fighting back vomiting in front of these people because I could not do that. I could not vomit in front of this elf. I mean, it was already probably plotting to kill me swiftly like it did the troll. And then you guys would never know what happened to me and it'd all be a mystery and we're so sad and oh my gosh. Thankfully, I think it realized I was telling the truth because they sent me on my way. They pointed me back towards town and said to warn everyone not to come looking for them, not to cross into elf land, and soon there would be signs posted, clear markers of where people could and could not go. I don't even know if they have the authority to do that, but I also don't want to test them. So this is my warning to everyone here in town. Be very careful of where you travel in the woods. Be careful of where you go because there are elves there and they are watching and they will not hesitate to kill. They saved my life this time, but I don't know if they'll do it again. So guys, please be careful. Part 2. Hey guys, I'm back a little earlier than normal with a bit of a gripe. Honestly, because y'all don't listen. When I warned you just a few days ago to be very careful about where you travel in the woods, that wasn't an invitation to start exploring. Especially to the teens and younger folk who tune into this broadcast, it was not an invitation. But for some reason, I've become the de facto messenger between our town and the elven community. I'm guessing it's because of this little radio show and the fact that people still listen. But they sent me a letter. It was waiting on my doorstep this morning, and it read, in bold letters, "Stay out of our lands." Look, I'm not a legal expert. I don't even know what constitutes as a police force in this world anymore. We all know everything is held together by a thin thread of cooperation and fear. But here in this town, we look out for each other. So please, really, listen to me when I say these words. Stay out of the woods. The elves do not want us there. And as far as the teens who did go in there, they were lucky this time. The elves let them go with a warning. We understand we are a new nation, but the woods are our home. They belong to us. Do not cross our lands without prior authorization. To do so again will result in the death of those who disobey. Guys, it's getting serious. Listen to me. Please, please, please heed my words. Do not go searching for the elves. Do not wander into the trees looking for answers, adventure, or some other sense of magic. They do not want to be found. And honestly, I fear what will happen if you try. Part 3. Guys, hey, I have an update for you all. One that I'm sure a lot of people listening have already heard. But it's my duty to share it. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to have to say this. This isn't the kind of news I've ever wanted to give. Town leadership has asked me to make an announcement, and I am. We lost 4 of our people, teenagers, 2 nights ago. They were killed in the woods. They went out as a group of 6. They say they weren't planning to cross into elven territory this time. At least, that's what the surviving 2 said. That's what they told leadership when they made it back. They just wanted to see how close they could get. Maybe spot an elf. Maybe carve their names into a tree and say, here, forever, everyone will know we made it to this spot. And there's a part of me that believes them, that believes they had no intention of getting close. 2 of those kids were the same ones who were captured in my last report. And I know they knew better than to cross that line again. But kids, teens, they like to show off. But that's not an excuse. They didn't deserve it, whether they were trying to show off or not. They just wanted to show their friends where they had been, nothing more. But now, unfortunately, the woods don't work like that anymore. A troll found them, attacked them, and 4 died before they could escape. And that brings me to the other part of this announcement. How did they escape? The elves. The elves rescued them. So, until further notice, the town leadership is issuing a full restriction. Stay out of the woods entirely. Not just elven land, all of it. There's a small talk about forming an agreement with the elves, possibly, because let's face it, the elves are the only ones who know how to bring one down. Even with the dragons reawakening, I never thought I'd be talking about troll defense alliances on my little radio show. But here we are. Such is life. So this is your warning, your final warning. Stay out of the woods, stay in groups, and don't go anywhere alone. The world is different now. Act like it. Part 4. Okay, guys, I'm back. And this time, I think we might be finally moving into a positive direction. Town leadership has authorized me to share this update, and I am so excited and happy for what may come from it. So, after my last warning, they called a meeting, and I was given a job, well, a mission, really, to reach out to the elves because of my positive previous encounter, if you can call it that, with them. Because they didn't kill me, I guess I'm on the positive with them. They thought, because they saved my life, they may be willing to think about working with the town. Correlation and causation are not the same thing, but we are moving forward, people. So with two of our strongest men aimed to the teeth with rifles and knives, we went into the woods a few days ago. And it was scary. I'm not going to lie. It was very scary because I didn't want to face another troll. But we stopped before the boundary. The men were a few steps back, and it was just me by myself, no weapons, hands up, trying to display that we were coming in peace. I even stopped behind where the troll originally stopped because I remembered. You know, fear does imprint things into your brain. I did not cross, and instead, I tied a letter to a rock and gently tossed it past the line, stating that we would like a request for cooperation. I also verbally said this, but just in case they didn't want to listen to me or that I was going to have to stand up there forever, I wanted it to be written down for posterity's sake. But the letter offered everything I was saying out loud on paper. We would provide goods, food, clothing, supplies, etc., in exchange for training and protection against the ongoing troll attacks. Because we don't know how many are out there, and let's be real, we're not equipped to fight them alone. We're just not. And guess what, guys? I have been allowed to say the elf said yes, 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 yes. They are going to help us. They didn't say how many of them there were. They didn't actually share that much when I think about it. But it doesn't matter because they agreed to send a security team into town, a force to help defend us against what else is out there. Because the trolls could just be the start. Who else knows what other creatures are being created from dragonfire? So if you see some elves around town, do not freak out. Know that they are here to protect us. And maybe, just maybe, we'll get to learn about them along the way. So please be respectful, be on your best behavior. This is a very new and fragile alliance, and we need it to work. Because survival isn't a solo sport anymore. So that's it until next time. Stay safe, stay smart, and don't piss off the elves. Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening to the latest episode of Scenes Out of Place Audio Edition. I truly, truly, truly hope that you're all enjoying this because I'm having so much fun creating these. It is scratching an itch in my brain that I've had for so long. But it does take a lot of time and effort to make these episodes. So if you would like to support me, you can take a little gander over to my Patreon page and sign up under author support. For everyone who signs up under author support, your name will be read on the credits at the end of each new episode. Because I want this to be something we all can enjoy, but I might need a little help in doing so. So if you would like to support me, check it out. Otherwise, keep listening and enjoying. And as always, thank you so much for your support.